as this loads. I've got before we start, we're debunking that video, and I've made a sheet of good points in case they do make good points. So I'll be able to see what type the chat, and don't think I'll be able to respond to it, but I've got it open so I can respond to you guys via verbal. Alright, let's click on the video.
In places like...
Hang on, that's an ad. But first, I've seen some of the comments, okay? It says, unfortunately, this video will never reach the right people because they hate learning what doesn't suit their biases. Well, I think they're referring to people that are conservative, like me, and it has reached me, and I'll be able to see science is more than just basic grade school biology. Who could have guessed? Alright, there might be a few things that go on this sheet. This video might end up being clickbait, but who knows? I'm a transgender man. When I was in kindergarten, I've never met a queer person of any blah 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 blah. Anyways, also this channel, if I open link in new tab, oops, there's a video playing. Oh, hang on, notification. What's this? No, just Soldier 132. My guy, Soldier. Wow, I need to debunk that video next. Remembering political extremist Charlie Kirk. Remembering neo-Nazi Charlie Kirk. Holy moly, this has got a ton of things for me to review. Debunk next. I really doubt this is gonna be hard to debunk. Wow, there's a lot of cool things to debunk. Dog. Accredited LGBTQ education show. Anyways, actually talking about LGBTQ, I got banned from that subreddit. Yeah. I know, not very surprising. Anyways, let's go through the...
Like the Gaza Strip, when I see so many children suffering from extreme hunger and struggle.
Welcome to Transgender Science class.
Nice guitar riff. That's a pretty peak intro. I might subscribe because of that, but we need to see the whole video first. The first 15 seconds.
Be sure to check out our transgender pins, pronoun buttons, and fundamentals of being transgender course at ProfessorPry.com. Transgender is a term used to describe someone whose gender identity does not correspond to their sex assigned at birth.
Okay, let's see if they're using the right facts. If I search up... Oh look, they've got a fact right. That is one fact right. I should make it on the other side. Facts correct. And they have got 1. Let's see if they can have more than 10. So as we can see, we've got 1 fact correct so far. But it's only been 28 seconds, so who knows? There could be... Oh wait, it's only 13 minutes. I thought it was 28 minutes. Right, it's gonna be...
Though this typically means someone describing themselves as male to female or female to male,
Well, that's also correct. You've got 2 facts in this video. That is pretty...
sometimes seen as...
Not even my videos have 2 facts after 34 seconds. It's going to a good start.
As MTF or FTM respectively, transgender is also a blanket term used to describe many other identities. This includes but is not limited to non-binary, meaning someone who describes themselves as not of the gender binary.
Well, you see, the problem with this is that, well, you've got some wankers who have not had any surgery and just call themselves stuff, but let's move on.
of male or female. Gender fluid meaning someone whose gender identity changes over
Oh wait, no, I think that's the term we're talking about. Right, they're the weirdos.
time, and agender meaning someone who describes themselves as not having a gender.
Let's get to the facts. First of all, there are two genders, and you either fit in one or the other. So that is not a fact. So we can go to facts that are not facts. So they are lies. And we've got one. Right. That's what the scoreboard's looking at the moment. They have not had any good points yet. But we'll see.
Though the term transgender was coined in the 1970s, trans people have been around
Still one person watching. Which is my iPad.
since the dawn of humanity. In fact, the
term transgender was coined in the 1975.
1970s, trans people have been around since the dawn of humanity. In
Really? Oh, let's see if they can prove
fact, the earliest recorded trans person lived in 2900 BCE, and while this person may not have described
person only seen for female births.
themselves as trans 5,000 years before the term was coined, they were buried according to their gender identity, not their sex assigned at birth. This means the people in 2900 BCE respected a person's gender identity even after death.
Well, yes, but I mean, what if that was just a job and they happened to have a female's job? Like, seriously, that's a kind of half good point, but not really. Does that really reflect today?
Some other important terms to know for this science class include perceived gender,
Science class. Fine, we'll see if this is science.
which describes the gender other people may perceive you as when they first meet you. Actual gender, meaning the gender you feel you are internally. Gender dysphoria, which describes a person's distress when their perceived gender.
This actually does exist. This is another fact, because I was talking to someone who did have that. But that is a very rare thing. I believe that transgender is a social thing. Still one person watching. Crazy. No one's clicking on this video. But, yeah, this is a thing, but I think it only counts for 10%. But we'll see. We'll see if this is... The main thing here is if it's a social thing or a scientific thing. There's a lot of evidence for being a social thing, but I have not seen this video yet. They might have some good points, but so far they've got... none. But it's still 1 minute in.
Doesn't match their actual gender, and gender euphoria, meaning their happiness when their perceived gender matches their actual gender. So how does being transgender work? A person's gender identity is determined long before they are born. We know that a person's sex is determined by their father's sperm cell
Yes, that is another fact, correct? Good.
when it meets their mother's egg in the womb. But that's when scientists have discovered the brain and the body of the fetus can go in two different directions on gender. Your gender is determined by your brain, not your genitalia. After a child is born, most times they begin to experience their actual gender identity between the ages of 3 to 8 years old.
Now, do you have any, I know it's a really weird term for you guys, but evidence? Let's see.
Though it could begin much later in life. This goes for all children, not just trans kids. But for trans kids, this comes in many forms, from feeling like the genitalia they were assigned at birth doesn't feel right, feeling like they want to wear different clothing.
Different clothing has nothing to do with it. I mean, everyone would probably, when they're like 3 or 4, even 8, might want to wear some other people's clothing just because they're curious. Does not mean they are instantly trans. Genitalia doesn't feel right, they're only freaking 8. Look, 8. 8.
Or feeling like they're...
So, can we have bad points? We have bad points here. And that is 1. Phew. I put 0.5 for good points, because so far we've got like half a good point at the beginning, but we've got 1 bad point. Actually, 2 bad points. Hang on, oh look, there's another one. Name or pronouns feel hurtful to hear. Really? At 8. At 8. You guys could have put the scale a bit further up, then this would make a bit of sense, but you put it at 8.
Their name or pronouns people address them by are hurtful to hear. Once a child shows signs of this gender dysphoria and feels like they might be transgender, there are 2 types of transitions available for them. Children under the age of 8 years old in the United States and many other—
Yeah, but they're 8! They're still tiny! Oh my god. This counts as a massive bad point. They're 8, they still don't know how the world works yet. They still don't know how they work yet. They still have a developing brain. I probably still have a developing brain, but they have a very developing brain. Like, it's barely there yet. Anyways.
Other countries are limited to social transition only.
Social transition is bullshit. It's just, no.
Social transition includes coming out of the closet to yourself in the mirror.
I know, but like literally coming out of the closet? I mean, I get what I mean, but still.
Your friends, family members, and others.
Does that mean that you actually identify yourself as one? Because that's crazy.
There's no rush to coming out, as sometimes
I'll look at my watch later. There's so many things I've already watched. Oh, it's PragerU. PragerU's pretty cool, but they're very hypocritical. That'll be another video. Yeah, and stuff about YouTube stuff, because look at me. Only 138 subs and 1 person watching. Anyways.
It's not safe in your family or area to do so. But in coming out, you might ask people to use pronouns or a chosen name to affirm your gender. You might start wearing clothing and getting haircuts to match your gender identity. These are all forms of social transition, and they are all completely reversible with no side effects and 0 harm done to the child. This social
Yes, there is no harm done to the child. Oh, actually, yes, there is harm done to the child, because they end up being indoctrinated and believing they really are. When they get the transition, eventually, hang on. Oh. The dog's worried over nothing. They get the transition, and then they have physical things wrong with them, and they have mental things wrong with them, all that sort of stuff. So that's 2 lies and 6 facts. But the facts don't really help anything, because they've made 2 bad points and half a good point. But we're only 3 minutes in.
Transition period also plays a key role in allowing the child to understand their gender more before any other steps are taken.
I thought this video would be kind of hard to debunk, honestly, but so far we're seeing that it's not. Oh, I can't help because that's decided. Yeah, it's pretty easy to debunk so far.
Parents might worry a child is just going through a phase, but this social transition period
probably is just a phase. Because, well, you probably all feel like that. I felt like, oh, what if I was a woman? Like when I was 8? You're still at 8. You haven't progressed since 8 yet. 8-year-olds always sometimes think like this, and you're putting it down to because I want to be another gender. They're 8. Can you not see that? Look, they're 8. They're little innocent children.
Period allows the child to test how happy they are, walking around with different clothes or makeup and being addressed by a different name. Studies have found—
Don't do this. You tell them that they are what they are, and don't put them in a false reality. If you tell them what they are, then they'll eventually, it will be a phase, and it won't be something that impacts them for the rest of their life.
When family members, friends, teachers, and others respect this social transition, the child has less anxiety, depression, and less harmful effects.
Research demonstrates that gender-affirming care improves mental health and overall for gender-diverse children and adolescents. Really? I mean, that could be a fact. Let's see. Does gender-affirming care have positive results for 8-year-olds? Because that's who they're referring to. Space. University of Sydney. Oh, there's my favorite guy, Ben Shapiro. SBS. Where is it? Let's find a nice unbiased source. Royal Children's Hospital. That should be unbiased. Blah 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 blah. Right, so it does seem it is, but what about in the long term? Alright? Long term it isn't, because let's say if you say, oh yeah, you are what you think you are, that is obviously going to make you feel happier. But eventually, if you live that through, you're going to realize that's not what you really want to be as your brain gets more and more, developed. And you realize that as you move through life, you kind of wanted to be how you were, and because that's how you were chosen to be when you were born. Anyways, moving on.
Overall, when puberty begins at the age of 8 to 10 years old, this is the first time any medical transition could even be.
You can get medical transitions when you're 10? Shit, something needs to be done. I remember when I was 10, I was like a little innocent person. Imagine me getting freaking estrogen on tits when I'm 10.
Be considered. Typically, it is around this age when the family helps their child seek help from a certified psychiatrist.
Certified just means it's been certified by the LBGT Association to make sure they will get transition. So, I would say that's a pretty bad point. I haven't made any good points yet. I mean, it wasn't really a good point, was it? It was a fact, but it wasn't really good. It was probably another half good point. So another 0.5 equals to 1. So far we've got 2 half good points, which equal to 1, and 3 bad points, because those points didn't really show the message of this pro-trans movement, and we're still 4 minutes in. Alright, how long has this been going on for? 18 minutes, right. Anyways, moving on.
Working specifically in transgender therapy. After months of therapy, this psychiatrist, along with her family doctor, could both prescribe a puberty blocker drug.
Hang on, let's see what they say about puberty blockers. I've got some points for this one.
Should be noted that while puberty blockers are very basically a pause button on your puberty, which could be unpaused at any time, doctors warn patients and their guardians that these blockers may slow your physical growth, affect your height, and decrease your bone density, which may...
They don't say that, because most of the times if you hear experiences from parents, they say, well, you're going to take this or your children's going to die. And they don't really mention any negatives. So this is a fact that is not a fact, which is a lie. And they do have negative health effects. It's a bit like puberty blocker is meant to solve an illness. It's a bit like you getting chemotherapy even though you don't have cancer or anything wrong with you. That's the same thing as a puberty blocker. Sure, it's harmless. But because think about it. Most things are quite harmless if you have the disease, but if you don't, what's the point? And B, it's probably going to end up being quite harmful. Puberty blockers were made to treat something. Anyways.
May cause your bones to break more easily in the future, and doctors warn patients that the long-lasting effects of the...
Basically, what this channel is saying is that transgender is bad because it will do all of these things to you. This is a terrible point. They're literally saying that these are the negative effects. You're not really supposed to do that. I mean, if I was going to make a video about trans, I'd say all the negative effects, and I probably wouldn't say the positive effects because I'm trying to convince an audience. I might have a rebuttal against this, who knows?
These drugs are still being tested to this day.
That's another problem.
Just like any other drug on the market.
Just like any other drug in the market. Oh, so my Panadol is being tested to this day, the exact one I'm eating. I'm not eating it now, but if I would have one.
Usually around the same age when puberty is taking effect.
Wait, that's another fact that isn't a fact I forgot. Oof. Further we get into this video, the worse it becomes. I really thought it convinced me.
Many trans children socially transition in other ways. These include trans men using binders to cover their breast, so they...
Hang on a minute, trans men mean that they are actually women. So that means they shouldn't have breasts unless they got man boobs. Right? Okay.
They appear to have more of a masculine chest, and trans women use tight underwear, especially...
Oh, ow. Dang. You said when they were 8 they were uncomfortable with their genitalia. Imagine a man having to squeeze his... Oh. Imagine a man... that's just the thing. Construction next door. Very loud. Might actually shut the door. Imagine how uncomfortable you'd be with your dick now. Having to squeeze it into something tiny.
Specially designed tape, or gaffs, to tuck their male genitalia to appear more female with tighter clothing. Sometimes when trans children are denied from using proper binders or...
They are more comfortable because you're not squishing them to freaking smithereens.
Underwear made to cover their...
Oh my god, the dog wants to go inside. This is another terrible point. 5 to 1. Or 5 to 2 halves.
their chest or groin areas, they rebel and start using unsafe methods like...
Really? They want to purposely hurt themselves. If they are trying to hurt themselves, don't you think there's a mental issue going on? Don't you think that they should get help and not try to push more for this? This is yet another terrible point. Oh my god. Oh, there's nothing wrong. We just need to keep them to keep harming themselves.
Like ace bandages or other elastic materials which could cause lasting harm.
And you're saying the other thing won't by squishing the dick into something the size of this piece of paper?
In the United States and many other countries around the world, you cannot legally start the next step until the child turns 16 years old.
Well, that's good. That's in Australia, that's the age of consent. So you shouldn't be able to properly have, what's it called? Transition before then. I think it should be 16.
You also need your parent or guardian's written permission.
Oh, actually, there was a case in Canada where the guardian didn't... Actually, no, this is actually a lie because they don't need it, because there's a case in Canada where they didn't give the parents permission. They didn't ask for the parents' permission, and they did it anyways, and the parents were against it, and they got jailed. So this is a fact that is not a fact, which is a lie.
Consent from your doctor and consent from your license.
Those two are true. Those are correct facts. You've got more correct facts. I think there's a few others, so I might add another one. I forgot to keep track of the facts. But I need to remember the facts correct, because we're also trying to see if this video is educational, but so far, it really isn't.
Psychiatrist to start hormone replacement therapy or treatment, otherwise known as HRT. These are
right, hormone replacement treatment. I guess that could be a possible fact. We've got 10 facts. I've never seen an LGBT video with that many facts in it. Oh, the editors of this one must have been like, too many facts for me.
These are very strict regulations because, unlike puberty blockers, hormone treatment cannot be
So basically they're saying, well, trans is very good, but you cannot reverse it. Isn't that a bad thing? What if they change their mind? This is actually not a bad point yet. We'll see how they expand on it.
reversed. For men, this includes deepening your voice alongside vocal training and growing facial hair. For women, this includes developing breast and changing your body's shape. HRT can come in many forms, including a shot, pill, patch, gel, or an implant.
A shot, pill, patch, gel. Okay. I guess that's probably another fact. I'm going to be kind. More facts. Good, we're learning something. Though it's not helping our argument. It actually was. I'd say that's a 0.5 bad point because they're saying, well, it can't be reversed. But that's pretty not really helping.
Doctors warn patients that HRT can increase your
Once again, don't warn the patients because they really want that to happen for some reason.
risk of blood clotting, high blood pressure, mood changes,
Oh my god, I'm halfway through the video, thank god. Nearly halfway through the video.
and liver inflammation. The most common side effect is a lowered sexual desire. All of these are reasons your doctor closely monitors anyone on these medications. Some of the benefits of puberty blockers and hormone treatment
There's benefits? Oh, I want to see this.
working in tandem include helping the person with emotional,
Really? Well, have you seen? Hang on, let's go into suicide rate graph. And let's see images. Let's see. 2000 to 2020. 2020, 2015, 2010, 2000. So we've got 2000. As we can see, that is the lowest age, and that is the age of the least trans people. Then we've got 2020. And 2020 is here. There you see, 2020 was in the pandemic. I mean, that could have resulted in a lot of suicides. But what about 2015? That was also second highest. There's no pandemic there, and the economy is very good there. Okay, economy was shit 2010, and look, it's even lower than that. That's when they're starting to accept trans people. And look at this. Most common ages for trans people, and it's higher. So you're saying that killing yourself improves your emotional health? That is a bad point there. So we're at another one. So we're at 7.5 bad points and 1 good point. Yeah, okay.
and social development by making them more comfortable.
I guess you might feel more comfortable in your body, maybe, for a short period of time. So that is... I guess that could be another good point. So you got 1.5 so far. This is what the... How do I do 1 1/5? 1.5. We've got still 1 watching. Oh, look! Hang on, there's a dude. What are you trying to say? Wait, can you not hear me? What am I trying to say? Well, Mr. Question, I am trying to just debunk this whole video, and I've made a few good points, I feel like. I've listed out all the incorrect stuff. I mean, hang on. Let's see if I can find this last year. I'll respond to you. Channel. Mickey Gasket. My incredible videos here. Who is Borleo? I don't know. Maybe they just can't hear me. Here we go. Alright. Oh, I can like incredible videos here. Who is Borleo? Turn this off. Just proving the video wrong. Anyways, look, there we go. Sorry I did not notice your post. It might have been there for quite a while. Anyways, moving on.
In their body, helping combat depression, boost their self-esteem.
Alright, I guess it does boost their self-esteem. This is like a ton of good points here. However, it does not help with emotional development because none of this matters if you end up dead afterwards. So we've got 2.
And prevent the need from future medical transition. Once a person is over the age of 18 or over the age of 17 with parent or guardian consent.
Honestly, not gonna lie. This guy, the person they're talking about, sounds like they're in a really shitty position. And they should have probably, when they were 8, had something else done to them. Maybe all this costly, time-consuming stuff could have helped if the parents just went up to them and said, "Hey, little Johnny, you're a boy." And little Johnny went, "Oh, I am." Not this 10-year battle with genitals and other stuff.
A transgender adult can consider further medical transition. They must have been on hormone therapy for a minimum of a year and get consent from their doctors and licensed psychiatrist. For men, they can consider top surgery to remove their breast, hysterectomies to remove their female reproductive organs, phalloplasty to...
You know, there's a lot of removing here. Removing bodily parts sounds pretty painful. So once again, Mr. Johnny, when he's 8, if his parents were not fuckwits, he wouldn't have to remove freaking every second body part of him.
Construct a penis using skin taken from other parts of the body, typically...
What? Oh, here's my arm. Let's construct a dick out of that. That's a pretty shitty point. That's good. I want to make another half points, then we can do that to 8. We've got 8 bad points. That sounds pretty revolting, not gonna lie. Fuck.
your thigh, and metoidioplasty to make your clitoris work more like a penis. For women, they can consider a breast augmentation to get implants.
So basically, they're still not really men or women, are they? I guess that's why you put trans beneath them, but they want to be classified as one, but they're not really one, are they?
In their breast area, orchiectomy, tracheal shave to make their Adam's apple smaller, facial feminization to create more feminine facial features, and penile inversion vaginoplasty to create a vagina by inverting the penile skin.
Fuck, that sounds so fucking painful. Ah. Fuck. Oh, ew.
It should be noted that these surgeries can cost tens of thousands of dollars, which many insurance providers...
Yeah, and if little Johnny, at the start, said he didn't want to do this, or his parents weren't dumbasses, he wouldn't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars.
...do not cover. Before any surgery,
You see, that's another crappy point. 9. 10. Thank God I didn't have leftist parents.
Doctors will discuss with their patients the medical risk involved in any surgery. Because of these risks and cost, many transgender people decide to only socially transition, and even for those that begin medical transition with puberty blockers or HRT, most of them choose to never get any surgeries at all. No matter how a transgender person decides to transition, or how much social or medical transition they choose to undergo, their gender identity...
This video is killing my brain cells. But it's all for the sake of making good content. So, yeah.
...is no less valid than anyone else. But you might ask, what lets us know their gender identity is valid according to science?
Science? Oh, hang on, here's the good part. Well, you see, before we begin this section, what they did, the leftists, they changed the definition of gender so they could prove themselves right. If you have to change a definition of something to prove yourself right, then you're not right. You should be able to prove yourself right without changing definitions.
Well, in February 2015, the first unbiased...
with the high suicide rate, right?
...a study began on trans...
Did they say unbiased?
According to science. Well, in February 2015, the first unbiased study began...
Hang on, let me just repeat what he said. In February 2015, the first unbiased study. Alright, moving on. Just cleared it up for him.
Began on trans people to find
Them or her.
what causes them to be trans. Previous studies had a bias of either trying to find a cure for being trans, funded by a hate group, or a study funded by...
Group. Wow. Really supporting the conservatives there. Oh, trying to make them sound like dumbasses and hateful racists.
A trans nonprofit setting out to find evidence to support their cause. Head of department, clinical staff physician, and clinical researcher at the department...
He does not look like the sort of person who would be trying to reach an unbiased conclusion, not gonna lie. Just look at him. Anyways, moving on.
Department of Endocrinology at Ghent University Hospital in Belgium, Professor
It's in Europe.
Guy T. Chun conducted a study titled the European Network for the Investigation of Gender Incongruence, also
That sounds pretty unbiased.
known as ENERGY.
Engine to it.
His researchers followed 2,600
Finally, a decent sized survey.
transgender participants who were all taking hormone medicine throughout the study and undergoing brain scans using MRI machines to determine how happy the person is. This gave doctors and scientists a literal picture of their brain, much like you can see an X-ray of your bones. The researchers also had thousands of cisgender participants undergo the same MRI study
Normal people.
to record brain activity, and then they compared the scans with those of trans participants. From their 2,600 trans participants, endocrinologists could not find a single case where a
Actually, what is this? Oh, I can't click on this video. Anyways.
trans man brain scan did not match a cisgender male brain scan. The same goes for trans women. Every trans brain scan matched perfectly with the brain activity in their cisgender counterparts, and did not match the brain activity of their biological counterparts.
Well, that's probably because they've had 300 million changes to their body.
But one study doesn't prove much. Something can...
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. You've got 3 good points. So basically, what you're saying is their brain activity is the same as the gender they're transitioning to. Because after 10 years they've been told they are like that. If you were told, let's say, I tell you you suck at something over and over again, how psychology works is that you eventually suck at it. Have you seen that basketball thing where they say you suck and they miss? That's kind of how it works. Your brain gets wired. So I don't think most of it, I appreciate some of it is actual true. Most of it is social wiring.
Cannot be proven until its results can be replicated. That's what Dr. Julie Baker from the University
This is an unbiased study. Look, she's got short hair.
of Liège did.
And she's wearing a bicycle t-shirt. That's gay. If the bicycle doesn't have an engine in it, and you're wearing it as a shirt, needs an engine.
In May of 2018, Dr. Baker focused her study on 160
Still a sizable amount.
transgender children and teenage participants, not on any HRT or puberty blockers, rather than trans adults. She conducted the same MRI test, and her results were identical to
Well, that just sort of says what I'm saying. I mean, it proves your point, but it also proves my point. So depending how you think about it. So this isn't... I mean, it proves my point about basic psychology, but it proves your point again. So we're sort of in a bit of a stalemate. So hopefully in the last 3 minutes of the video, you can sort of provide more evidence.
Professor Guy T. Chun's energy study. She later said, quote, "Although more research is needed, we now have evidence that sexual differentiation of the brain differs in young people with gender dysphoria."
Let's see. Anyways, a little more research needed. We have evidence differs in young people with gender dysphoria because they've been told and because of psychology.
as they show functional brain characteristics that are typical of their desired gender. As a result, she says, quote, "We will then be better equipped to support these young people instead of just sending them to a psychiatrist and hoping their distress will disappear spontaneously." Other doctors and endocrinologists around the world who have reviewed the data from both studies say the brain scans show some people are somewhere in between.
Dr. Muat Altine. That sounds like a pretty woke name to me. Definitely not a John.
Between both male and female, sharing characteristics of both. We've defined this space on the gender spectrum as non-binary or gender fluid.
Oh wait, hang on, non-binary was a fact, and I don't think I put that in as a fact. Right, you've got 12 facts. Once again, these editors. Actually, no, each of those studies count as a fact, I guess. So you've got 14 facts. Those editors really were stressing themselves out. They cannot deal with that many facts.
But with this data, it proves their gender identities are just as valid as well. The best
Just valid as well. Really.
part of science is that it is an endless endeavor of presenting a question, finding answers, and most times finding more.
Well, no, what you're doing is presenting an answer and then finding an answer. Anyway.
Questions to ask. So we concede that more studies should be done.
Well, yes, more studies should be done. Yes. Fact. 15 facts. Wow, we've moved into 3 lots now. But once again, these facts don't do anything.
Evidence should be sought out.
Because, well, the facts don't support the argument. The facts help the argument, but they don't really. They help it. They make it seem more logical, but they don't really. They're not really proving their point still. They're still not proving any sciences. They're still not. There is a science. The actual science bit is the bit that are the facts that are not facts. Basically, the social aspects you're getting right, but the science bits you're getting wrong. So you should say the social aspects of being transgender.
And more questions should be asked. But as for now, the science and data are pretty clear. If
Pretty clearly not on your side.
If you asked me or many other researchers who have...
You're a researcher? The freaking thing powered by rainbows, saying that Charlie Coe was a neo-Nazi? Seriously? Like seriously.
spent years looking at this
Years. Okay. Years? Oh, it's been nearly a year.
data, the concept of gender was put into a binary system because we allowed it to get that way.
Oh, no, because it's a fact.
During World War II, women would wear men's clothes.
Do you know why they would do that? They would do that. 10 bad points. So they could fight in the war because women weren't allowed to fight. They were only allowed to help in the war. They weren't actually allowed to fight. Oh my god, this guy.
Clothing so they can help fight in the war. During the Renaissance,
No, well, that's because women weren't allowed onto the stage. These people don't actually identify themselves as trans. They're just doing it because of some other goal they have. This kind of counts as the same point.
men would wear dresses and put on makeup to perform on stage, and no one saw it as an issue. And even
No one saw it as an issue because women weren't allowed on stage, so they had to have some man do it. They weren't actually going around saying, "Oh, I'm a woman. I identify myself as a woman." No.
5,000 years ago, a woman's gender identity was respected by her community, even after her death, even though her skeleton
5,000 years ago. I mean, are you sure? Did you ask them? I mean, still, anyways. But if you think about it, the evidence for that could be pretty mistaken. I mean, what if they just put the wrong skeleton in there? What if, I don't know, that he just did a role that was a female's role, and because there were too many males hunting, the male was a bit weaker, and you wanted to pick the fruit or something. So it got buried in a way that the people who picked the fruit would do it, which were predominantly women.
Skeleton was male.
So I guess because that was one of the points, I can sort of cancel it out to be 2.5 good points.
I've witnessed thousands of people over the years wearing clothing, shoes, jewelry, or makeup that doesn't match the gender role.
So have I. 16 facts that don't help your argument.
Society labeled them with at birth. Throughout my study, although less scientific than those
That is.
I mentioned a moment ago, I could not find one person in those thousands who wasn't genuinely happy to live their authentic lives. I've made dozens of terrific
There's plenty of people who regret it.
friends who don't conform to gender roles, and met some of the smartest people you'll ever meet, who once upon a time questioned why they couldn't wear a dress. Though the thousands of MRI brain
Good, you just buy one and wear it. It's just because, I mean, think about it. There are social expectations for a reason. Just saying. I mean, you can if you want, but there's a difference between you just interested in another's clothing and you actually being transgender as well.
Scans can prove being trans is valid according to science.
It is valid. I mean, some of them are valid. It's just you're still, also not by science, by just social stuff. You still haven't proved any science, and you're in the conclusion.
No matter where your gender lands on the gender spectrum.
You mean the two genders, male and female, which you still have not proved, but you might in another video.
To me, validity can be a relative term. No one under the age of 17 is getting surgeries, and most
Yeah, that's another fact. Maybe.
Most trans people only ever socially transition anyway, so there's never any harm to kids. No one is coming home.
Never any harm to kids. Never any physical harm. Mental harm. Mental harm that causes this. Which ends up being physical harm. Doesn't cause any direct physical harm, but it causes indirect physical harm. So that is another bad point. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bad points.
Home from school a different gender. And
you see, you could basically debunk the whole thing with this graph. 2000, they were really not accepting of trans people, and somehow it was lower. However, in 2020 they were very accepting, in 2015, and somehow it was higher. Coincidence?
And no child can use a bathroom or play on a sports team matching their gender identity without first spending years working with certified professionals and doctors who
sports team is a completely another issue, which I won't talk about, because that's not the point of the video.
Agree with their gender identity. So if it makes someone happy to wear a dress and high heels, then you go, girl. But for those out there wanting their happiness to end, please know that coming out isn't someone's way of asking your permission. It's their way of telling you the good news.
The good news. Wow, using Christianity term there.
News. It's not up to you how
good news. Wow. Imagine this Christian watching this going, you stole our quote.
Valid their identity is. It's only up to you how accepting
how valid their identity is. Oh, I think you took that into your own research. Doesn't matter how valid your research is. I'm just right. Yeah, sure. I did a simple, very easy Google search, and I managed to debunk
you'll be, and we hope by learning from this episode, you'll make the right choice. If you'd like to support our show,
that's the end of it. And what are the stats? Let's see, we've got 2.5 good points. We've got 11 bad points, which basically mean terrible points. We've got 17 correct facts. That is surprising. However, the 17 correct facts don't do anything. Then we've got 6 facts that are not facts and in fact lies. Actually, before I finish this video, I might edit the. Oh, hang on. There's actually a few people watching. What do you mean it's not receiving enough stuff? Well, anyways. Oh, if you enjoy this, please subscribe. Like, I actually really want you to subscribe. I need to edit. Hang on. Let's go. Yeah, try debunking this, mate. At what's it? Powered by Rainbows. Is it? Yeah, powered by Rainbows. Why can't I find your channel? Powered by Rainbows. Oh well. I guess I'm not gonna get them to try to debunk it. I couldn't find that thing. Cancel. Oh well. If you please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I might end up debunking another one of these dumbasses videos that I found out isn't actually that hard to do. America's Nazis. Who? There was that Charlie Kirk one. They had a Charlie Kirk one, didn't they? Remembering the neat political extremist Charlie Kirk. I wonder who the political extremist is. Maybe it's you. And does anyone actually care Charlie Kirk died? Well, quite a few people do. 1,000 companies that support Donald Trump. Alright. Well, that's probably facts, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Oh yeah, stupid No King's protest. Anyways, that should be the end of the stream. Like 3 o'clock here. So, see ya. How do I end this thing? Oh yeah.